Look what just arrived to me. It is the Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor Eyeshadow Palette. We are going to be doing 2 looks and I'm very excited. I really want to know what this formula is going to be. What can we expect from Singe Beauty in the future? This is their first eyeshadow palette. I think the packaging of this looks absolutely amazing. It is so retro, mysterious and a little fun. I think this is such a nice style of packaging. It feels really nice. It's really like nice sturdy cardboard. I am a fan of this. And then on the inside we have such a fun color story that is really up my alley. I really love eyeshadow palettes that have the option to go more neutral, to go more soft, and then also have the option to go a little bit more colorful, a little bit more fun, a little unexpected, and also combine those together and just a mix of like neutral, cool and warm shades, which we do have here. Like, this is looking really good. I already swatched this palette and it just swatches absolutely stunningly. I feel like the shimmers are really interesting. They feel quite smooth, not as putty and flaky as we have in a lot of indie makeup right now, like in a lot of indie eyeshadow palettes, and I am here for it. I think this is looking really fun, and it's gonna be difficult to decide what my first look is gonna be, but I'm gonna zoom you in. We're gonna play with this palette. Okay, so part of me kind of wants to play with this Milky Way shade. This is a holographic shade. It's swatched really nicely. But also these mints, like those are my favorite type of mints. Love it. And also the neutral shades. I kind of want to do like everything at once. I think I'm gonna start out a little neutral with maybe like a pop of blue or mint in the inner corner. I think I'm just gonna start out with this shade Hoodoos. What is Hoodoos? Hoodoos in the crease. Am I missing something there? I almost forgot my eye primer. Okay, let's quickly prime the eyes. I think this peach shade looks really fun because it does still have a little bit of something corally, slightly almost pinky to it. I think that's gonna be a fun base for a more neutral look. It's quite pigmented. So far this is looking good. There's a nice pigment but not too pigmented. It does really show up. Like, it's nice. But of course I have really high hopes for this palette. Okay, this is looking really nice. Quite vibrant, and I think we're gonna go into shade Cowgirl, so the more brown shade. In the pen I feel like the red and the brown look a little bit more similar than they actually are when you swatch them out. Like, when I first saw this palette I thought, might be a little similar. Oh, this is turning almost a little purple, this brown, with this combination. Like, not really purple, but it has a bit of a cooler undertone to it that you do really see. That is really nice. I love a cool brown. Okay, this is not turning into a subtle look. Like, it's gonna be sort of a neutral look, but it's not gonna be a subtle look. I think that is looking really nice. Kind of, it feels a little purpley. More purpley than I thought to get from this palette. Okay, let's grab a clean brush and blend the edges. Going back in with the brown a little bit on the edge as well, to get the shape that I want. And a little bit more blending. That is looking really nice. I think for the low lash line I'm going in with a little bit of a shade in, and then I'm gonna use a little bit more of Cowgirl. Just putting in first to have something to really blend that other shade into, to make that shade not look as dark. Like, this is an impactful palette. Just applying that brown there as well, and it really depends kind of what base color you use, how brown it looks. I think because I didn't want to look to become this dark and it's getting quite smoky, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of in as well on the top. And I'm just taking a fluffy brush and I'm just gonna dust it a little bit over the edge here. Kind of soften it slightly. Makes it look a little bit more purple, I think. Again, for the shimmer on the lid, I think I want to go into the shade called Come. It's kind of like this cool toned champagne almost. Oh, that looks really light. Do I want to do that? I'm just gonna try it, and I can always add another shimmer. That is really pretty. That is a nice shimmer. Seems to have a little bit of a like sheerness to it, and it's like it's a bit of a toppery shade. It has a bit of a shimmer to it, but it's not chunky. That is a really beautiful shimmer, but a little bit lighter than I was expecting from the pan. Like, this would be a really nice inner corner highlight as well. Blending the edges a little bit more of that shimmer. I did layer it quite a bit over the mattes. Gonna take a little bit of Cowgirl and use it as a shadow liner. And I think for the inner corner, I'm going into Encounter, the light blue shimmer. I think in my second look, I'm gonna do something with a matte inner corner highlight. This is really pretty. It has an ethereal look to it with the blue. I'm gonna apply a little bit on the lower lash line as well. And you know what? I'm gonna add a little bit of Milky Way on the lid as well. Just gonna tap a tiny bit of that on top here. Just a little bit of that silvery hollow sparkle. That is really pretty. Like, it's a subtle addition, but it's really pretty. I do love a good hollow shadow. Okay, I think this is where I'm gonna leave the look. I am gonna do the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back with my first impression thoughts for this first look. So this is gonna be the finished first look. I really love how it came out. I feel like everything worked really well. I feel like it all blended really well. The shimmers are really beautiful. I do think this is a little bit of a different formula for an indie brand, because the shimmer particles of these shimmers are quite small. They are not like super textured, super chunky or very flaky shimmers, which I think a lot of people could actually really enjoy, because not everyone loves those flaky textures. I do feel like this came out a little bit differently than I was expecting. Like, it's looking pretty purple on me. It's pulled a little like berry purple. Not what I was thinking. Like, I was gonna go for a little bit more of a neutral look. This is quite out there and a little bit more colorful than I was thinking, but that's okay. It's fun to kind of like find those combinations as well. I feel like the kind of like pinky tone in that first peachy pinky shade brought that forward, maybe like that mix of shades. So yeah, not exactly what I was expecting, but it's looking really beautiful. It all works really well. I think this is a super fun look. It is time for my second look with the Galactic Visitor palette, and I have been thinking what I want to do. I've been thinking, and I think it's gonna be a two-tone look. I want to do something with the mints, kind of like towards the inner part of my eye, and then I want to focus mostly on this kind of like grayish blue on the outer part, but I'm definitely gonna deep that up a little bit with Infinity, which is a really interesting color, by the way, because it's a dark blue with a greenish undertone, almost a little teal. I think that is gonna be very fun. So I'm gonna start out, I think, with the shade Orbit. So that grayish blue, I love a grayish blue. And I'm already wearing an eye primer. This time I was prepared. And ooh, that is actually quite a bright grayish blue. Like, it's pulling a little brighter on my eye than I was expecting, but it's a really beautiful shade, very pigmented and opaque. Gorgeous, gorgeous. That is so nice. I could almost just leave the depth of the crease like this. I feel like this is giving me a lot of depth already. I think this shade is gonna be a go-to for me in this palette. That is so nice, and it's super smooth, a really beautiful shade. I'm getting kind of like spring look vibes, also because the sun is shining, the birds are chirping. It feels like March. Like, it doesn't feel like it's almost Christmas. That is so nice. I really liked it. I'm gonna do a little bit of that under my eye as well, on the outer part, of course. That sticks under my eye very easily. Like, sometimes I use shades that don't stick to the under eye. Like, they really need a primer. This one is just looking good like this. Okay, now on to the mint called Saucer. And that, I think, might become one of my favorite shades in the palette. I love a good mint. That is so pigmented and bright. That is so fun. Okay, I have a feeling this is gonna be my favorite look of the two. That is so nice. Ooh. Like, that has a pigment, and I think it will be really nice in the inner corner as well. Just gonna place that over here and kind of wrap it around. I feel like it really adds such a nice brightness, even though it's not the lightest mint ever. It just is so bright and fun. And I'm just gonna blend it underneath here a little bit, like the residue. I'm gonna grab a clean brush to blend the edges. I feel like that blue is so easy to work with, like so easy. Okay, I'm gonna add Believe to the lid with a finger. The shimmery blue, that looks really fun. It's a little bit more almost true blue than the grayish blue matte. Just gonna pat that on. I haven't had like crazy fallout with these shades so far. This one is a little bit more sparkly than some of the shimmers that I tried yesterday. Like it has a little bit more texture to it, but still not chunky. That is really beautiful. I really like that shimmer. Gonna blend the edge a little bit over here. I do feel like I want to add a little bit of the dark blue in the outer corner just to blend that more into the crease. I'm gonna go into shade Infinity. And I'm just taking a little bit, not a lot, because I still want this look to be pretty bright. So I'm slowly building that up a little. I don't want this to take over the look. Blending the edge a little bit again. I really like that blue as well. Like that's working really well. This is gonna be such a fun look. And now onto the shimmer, the mint shimmer, and that is called Beam. Also gonna apply that with my finger. This one seems a little bit more smooth, but look at that. It's super like smooth and kind of ethereal. Very, very nice. I love these tones together. I want to add a little bit of the mint shimmer on the lower lash line as well. Or should I add a little bit of the light blue? I think I'm gonna use a little bit of Encounter on the lower lash line. Right over here. A little bit more at the beginning. I do have a little bit of fallout, but I am not wearing anything else just yet, so I'll fix that. Like it's nothing too crazy. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more of Infinity as a shadow liner, and then we're almost done. I think Infinity is a great shade to have in this palette because it has that kind of greeny undertone. It can go with green and blue really easily. Just a little under here as well. Okay, so this is gonna be the look before anything else. I think this is so fun. This is so fun. I love this look. It has so much like brightness and dimension. Love the shimmers. I'm gonna finish this look and then I'll be right back with my thoughts. This look makes me so happy. It is so fun. It is bright. It gives a lot of dimension. I feel like this is just exactly what I had in mind, and it's just really, really nice. I am really happy with this look. I think this is gonna be my favorite from this video, but the other one was also really pretty. So far, I am really happy with this palette. I think that the color story gives you a lot of options. We have a lot of different textures in the shimmers, which makes it very fun. I love the pigmentation levels, the blendability. This is a palette that I can't wait to do more looks with. Also because it's kind of like there are some pastels in here, and I do love pastels, but I also like combining them to get a little bit of depth. And I feel like that is this. I do feel like I still have to get to know this formula. It's still like, it feels new. I feel like we don't know each other that well yet. But so far, I'm really happy. I think this is a really good, well thought through palette. It is just, it's so fun. It's so fun. I feel like this is gonna work like for any time of the year. Like a lot of different kinds of looks. I definitely want to see like if I can get that more softer neutral look from this. And I definitely want to do a look combining Orbit and Milky Way. I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm gonna be playing more with this palette. I'm gonna be doing more looks. I'll probably post some on Instagram as well. And of course I'm gonna update you on it. But so far, I'm a fan. I think this is a great palette and I've had a lot of fun with it. Okay, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.